What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode in the Unleashed Potential podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, alongside Mr. Jabbar, Mr. Hassan. How you guys doing?
All good, man.
How's your week been? How's your week away from the podcast been?
Manual labor, moving houses.
Moving houses, huh? That's nice, man.
During wet weather too.
Yeah, well, we did over a few days. One of them was wet. I'm still moving over this weekend. It's really sunny there. So
I reckon one of the greatest pains in the world would be moving houses.
into an apartment.
And one of the greatest tests of your friendship would be asking someone if they would help you move houses.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially after you've helped them move. I think that's when the real test is like, if I've helped you move, and then when I need you to help me move, and you're like, nah, I'm busy, sorry.
No, but then it's a form of obligation because you're obligated to actually help that person.
I wait for them to text me. Oh, what are you up to today? Oh, yeah, you free? And they go, yeah. What do you want to do? And I go, I'm moving houses. Come help me out. And then now they have no excuse. It's like,
that's the ultimate trap. That's the ultimate trap. I swear. Yeah. I wouldn't even know how to respond to that.
Honestly, bro, I'd much rather pay someone's moving truck.
Yeah.
You know, I'd hire you a truck to go and actually move houses
your stuff for
than
you.
Me physically come there.
Especially on a day that you're off, like completely off. Like, like it's alright if it's like you're doing like me. I don't mind. Like there's sometimes where I've helped people move where I had work in the morning and it's like, all right, we'll just keep it going and then knock off one time. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then when you have a day completely off and that whole day is taken out,
it's crazy because it's not just physical. There's also the fact that you're occupying your whole time, you know, your whole free time, and then potentially you might not get food until the end.
Exactly.
And you're working on an empty stomach. That's just
moving food with us. We had food all the time. There was food in the house, and there was
because once you get food, the sleep comes.
Knocked off.
You're tired. You chill.
The heavy food's after, like you get snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Nah.
Anyways,
but alhamdulillah, man. My week's been good. How's your week been? Pretty good, I assume?
Yeah, it was good, man. Father's Day was last weekend. So, you know, here in Australia, because I think in the States it's different. It's a different time. Idea. Yeah, it is. It's at a different time. Okay. But here in Australia, Father's Day was last weekend. And alhamdulillah, it was good, bro.
Treated right?
Yeah, of course, man.
Milk
of course. Yeah, but you know, I tried to not even do the basic fundamentals, you know, like helping with house chores.
Nothing.
No. I want to be carried to bed. You know?
You got to milk it. It's
the one day.
It's a quick 12 hours, you know, because you don't even get the extra 12 hours. You're allowed from sunrise to sunset. That's it. No, but alhamdulillah, man. I think we'll move right into our topic today. But before we do, one of our listeners actually hit us up about a book that she wrote. Titled 101 Questions to Ask Your Potential Spouse. And I had a read of it. You guys had a good read. And it really goes hand in hand with our topic today, which is how to find the right spouse. And part of that is asking the right questions. What did you guys think of the book?
It was good. It had plenty of questions to ask, and it was really simple to read, and it gave you it was descriptive as well. I also really liked it because it just didn't hit one aspect, like questions you should ask yourself. So with this book, the interesting thing was different people found it different. I asked a few different people because I have friends that are getting married, that just got married, you know what I mean? So you ask them, like, what do you think about the book? And they always take something different away, like either be different questions they prefer or whatever it is. So it's pretty interesting because I think more so than asking the questions, it sees where the people's mindset is, you know? What do you think about it?
Simple, yes, because I read it in about a day and a half. Informative. Very. That's what I think. It was very informative. So the fact that it was simple and informative, it just goes hand in hand. You're able to consume it very quickly, but also very easily. So you can digest that information. And some of the questions itself, what I liked was the fact that it was backed up with some hadith. So that's basically the sayings and the doings of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Exactly.
So you're getting both sources of information, one from the author's experience and the other one from the hadith and the Islamic point of view as well. And they go hand in hand. And so, and because the Prophet ﷺ said marriage is half of your deen, it was only fair to, link it in.
Exactly. Now, you guys really expressed a lot of the sentiments I had towards the book. having read the book, I think what it also does is it helps you figure out the aspects that you want to focus on. When you're reading these, and a lot of questions you come across, because it's written down, like you said, it's simple and direct, you can start to see where you're focusing as a person as well.
Yeah.
Like if you read a question and it resonates with you, you're like, okay, well, that is a priority for me. So it helps you figure out as well, because there's a list of questions, it helps you figure out, rather than trying to bring out the questions and do all of that, it sort of helps you figure out what you want to focus on and what are some questions that don't really relate to you, as well as with the actual answers. Some of the questions aren't just answers to the questions; it's answers as to or reasons as to why you would ask the question. You know what I mean? Sometimes people, when you're getting married, they tell you ask this or make sure you know this or this. But they don't really tell you why or how it will affect you or what importance it has in our deen.
And knowing that ahead of time. Yeah.
Exactly. And then that way you are able to deduce whether you want to really ask that question or whether it's not important enough to you. Alhamdulillah, I really like the book, and mashallah, I hope it serves a lot of people well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will be posting it up on social media, and inshallah giving you like a link to the author's Instagram page, I think.
Instagram, socials.
So definitely look out for that.
Inshallah, definitely. It's a good read. You guys will enjoy it. But let's dive right into the topic, man. It's a topic that it's really big. It's really wide, and you can spend hours and hours talking about it. How to choose the right spouse. How do you go about that?
That's crazy, man. Because every single culture will approach this question differently.
Yeah.
Person will approach it differently.
Every person within that culture will approach it differently.
Exactly.
And it's such a vast and very, very important subject to tackle that, to approach it, it's not something that you just do lightly, and it's not something that you do alone. I think before you even figure out how to find the right spouse, I think you should look at yourself first. There's certain questions, and that's one of the things that I liked about the book, was the fact that towards the end of the book, it actually mentions some questions that you should be asking yourself. So, for example, if you're looking to get married, before you get married, you need to ask yourself, why?
Yeah.
Like, what's your intention behind
getting married?
Is it because it's the new trend?
Everybody's getting married.
Everybody's everybody's getting married. Is it because you feel lonely and you just want a companion? Is it truly to confirm and fulfill the other half of your deen?
Yeah.
Is it to fulfill the obligations? Is it to make sure that you, like, whatever the answer is, that question is very important, that it lays the foundation for you going forward. Because if you start with, and the Prophet ﷺ said, if whoever migrates for marriage, he gets a reward for that, right?
Yeah.
And whoever migrates for any other reason, he gets, his actions are rewarded accordingly. So, and your actions are judged by your intentions as well. So you have to start off with the right intention, and to understand your intention, you need to ask yourself, what is your intention behind, getting married? And then the other things you want to ask yourself is, what exactly are you looking for?
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to just say, I'm looking for a spouse, and then just start searching. When you're not going to approach it the right way. You need to know exactly what you're looking for. What are your likes and dislikes? What are some of the things that you find yourself okay sitting with other people? Like, what are the things that make you compatible with someone else? Like, you need to look at yourself, understand yourself, and then be able to link it with someone else. Does that make sense?
Does.
A lot of people, when you ask them, how do you go about finding the right spouse, they'll give a list of things they want, right? A list of things they want. And then I would ask them, can you fulfill those requirements that you've just requested?
He's looking for a 10 out of 10.
You know what I mean? Can you put on the table as much as you're requesting, or even half, right?
Yeah.
And for you to know or find the right person, you got to know what you want and what you don't like. You know what I mean?
That's a very important question to ask yourself. What can you bring to the table?
Yeah.
Not what can the other person fulfill for me or do for me.
Exactly.
It's not also what you bring to the table. What are you going to sacrifice?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will find a wife or spouse, someone that they want to get married to, and the situation, they might be a really good person and it's a really good fit, but the situation is not there. You know, it might be different city, might be whatever it is, different cultures, ethnicity. And so you got to sacrifice something. So a lot of people think to find my perfect spouse, everything has to go perfectly for me. See what it is?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's got to be all perfect, but it isn't. It isn't just what you can give. It's like, what are you going to sacrifice?
Yeah, that's another way. That's an interesting perspective as well, because sometimes it's not about what you can bring. It is about what you can actually sacrifice from what you already have. Yeah, like sometimes two people can meet and be in two different cities or two different countries. But, you know, if one's willing to sacrifice and actually relocate to be with the other person, that in itself is a sacrifice. Like, what are you bringing to this? You're not bringing much to the table except a sacrifice. And that's huge in itself. Yeah.
To me, I reckon sacrifices are bigger because it shows what you're willing to. It's actions. When you sacrifice something, it's actions. Because a lot of people, you hear them talking to people and it's like, it's all words. They're going to do this, they're going to do that, but they haven't done anything. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people that are trying to get married, talking to someone, and they're saying that, but like, I'm like, how do you know? What have they done for you? Oh, we just talk online. You know what I mean? Like, we just talk online. Like, okay, that's cool, but when it's go time, those sacrifices are really important.
See, I think if we break it down, if we break it down, to a single brother or a single sister, you ask them, what are you looking for in a right spouse, right? You know the saying, whatever you project is what you attract, right? You can't be a bum sitting at home with no job, no aspirations, no good character, and then expect, you know, Prince Charming or Cinderella to rock up to your house. It doesn't work that way. So the first step to finding the right spouse is working on yourself, right? When people know that your deen is on point, your character is on point, and those are two different things. Your deen and your character. The Prophet specified it differently. Your character and your deen. When those two are on point, your personality is good to get around. Then, firstly, you become an eligible bachelor or bachelorette for marriage, right? So that already opens you up to a lot of the good that you want to attract, right? Mashallah, there's 3-4 good sisters. But you have no qualities that they're looking for. They have all the qualities you're looking for. How is that going to work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you got to get out of the whole reality of looking for what you want when that person's going to want nothing in you.
Don't look for what you want, attract what you want.
Exactly. That's the first point, right? And then
in saying that, sorry to stop you, in saying that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be perfect.
No.
And it doesn't mean that you have to, because you could be 25 years old, right? Male, still working on yourself 2 years later. But the fact that you're in the process and you're making progress.
That's what I mean. The process. That there's got to be that little, even if it's 5%, 10%, 2%, that track record of progress. And
consistency.
Right? Exactly. Where people start to see that you're moving forward at whatever pace, whatever pace suits you.
Yeah.
Right now, if somebody came to ask for my sister, right, I would want to know that this person has got some sort of progress, and I would expect the same. You know what I mean? So that track record of progress, and then the Prophet ﷺ specified for us 4 reasons to look for in a potential spouse. If we're looking at it Islamically, right? And that is financial status, religion, beauty, and what was the last one? Cultural, family status, like the family. How should I put it?
Not reputation.
Reputation / status / help me out here.
I'm trying to think myself.
No, because the fourth one, it's like.
So people marry for money.
Into the family.
They marry for the deen. They marry for the beauty.
Yep.
They marry into a family.
And they marry for status.
Not necessarily
royalty.
Status. Not royalty, but status, as in like this family is a good family kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all 4 factors that factor into finding the complete sort of as complete person you can find, right? But the Prophet ﷺ said focus mostly on your deen, right? So that automatically shows you where you as a person should be focusing on, and where your main priority in looking for a person lies. And alhamdulillah, having been married for almost a year now. It's actually been almost a year.
You better not forget.
Yeah, almost a year. I've actually seen where instances where religion actually, or like deen actually
is the glue.
Is the glue.
Yeah,
you know,
that
where
holds it all together.
You're human beings, right? And if this person, in the way I see it, if you or your wife, whatever the issue may be, or even outside, how you react with other people, at home, with your wife, with your husband, with your friends, if reason doesn't stop you, if logic doesn't stop you, if your family and your friends don't stop you, at least deen will stop you from overstepping your boundaries, not fulfilling your rights and your responsibilities, and that is really, really important.
Yeah, but I want to take this topic a little bit differently. So obviously the first step is always to make sure you're ready for marriage, which is what we're talking about, right? Now let's assume you're ready for marriage, you're working on yourself, you're at that point where you can start looking. Where's that process start?
I'll tell you where it starts. I'll tell you where it starts. You ask, because it's like I said, it's a process that shouldn't be undertaken alone. You don't go looking for a spouse and look based on your own opinion and your own judgment. This is a very serious matter. Yeah. And you should take into consideration some of your closest people, whether it's your parents, whether it's older relatives or siblings or brothers or whatever it is, or a close, respectful friend, someone you value their judgment, right? Any one of those that can help you and guide you in the right decision would be very, very valuable, because you cannot do this on your own. So the first thing to do is ask for help, right? You ask your parents, or you ask their relative or the sibling or someone, and you say, look, I'm looking to get married. They will be able to actually help guide you. And not only that, you can bounce ideas off them. Like you can literally approach them and say, look, I'm thinking of this. They might even pinpoint certain things that you've never thought of. They'll, like me, I remember when I got married, I didn't just say, that's it. I want to get married and then start searching. That's not how it worked. I straight away, I contacted some of the people that I was living with at the time, and that's my uncles and aunties. I contacted my brother and, his wife, and I spoke to them directly. And I said, look, this is my intention, and this is my goal, and this is what I'm willing to bring forward. And this is, the type of person that I'm looking for, and everything that I basically wanted, right? Exactly. And alhamdulillah, all of that through other people's help. That's how it actually worked. It wasn't through my own efforts. I initiated it, but I gathered the people to try and help me. Right? You just take it like a project, a very, very serious and very important project, and you need people to help you.
But then on the other side of that spectrum, a lot of people go out and try and find and meet somebody on their own, right? Yeah. But even then, it comes back down. You've met this person. What's the first thing you do once you're happy with this person? What's the first thing you do?
You mean a potential candidate?
Yeah, a potential candidate that you now have taken a keen interest to.
Has to go to the review board.
Exactly. Your parents. Okay. Again, your respective family, friends. Yeah. Again, it's the people closest to you that you're like, okay, well, this is the person. This is a potential candidate, and they'll tell you, okay, well, especially in our culture, they'll tell you, all right, we'll go do the background check and all of that
reference,
stuff. Yes. Reference check, and like you said, you don't do that all by yourself. Family, friends, but then a lot of days I see now people aren't really interested in taking either recommendations or asking for help from anybody. To be honest, they just want to meet. They want to go out to the street and meet somebody and be like, yo, I found the one. You know what I mean?
Or some it's because of that. They want to be the ones that like, oh, I found it, I didn't have any help. And then there's others that they might be ashamed. I know a lot of people that...
You mean shy? Like a bit embarrassed?
A bit embarrassed about, like, I don't know. But no, there's the embarrassing where, I don't know about, they don't have that relationship with their parents maybe, or their friends, and they're afraid. And then they know that their parents won't accept it. You know what I mean?
Well, if that's the case, then you're going... You're against the grain, and you're back to step one. Yeah. Asking certain questions. Do your family accept this kind of thing? Because it's very important. You're not even you're not just marrying a person. Yeah. You're actually going into a family. Yeah. They're accepting a son, and you're accepting a daughter into your family, right? So both families need to be able to work together.
Exactly.
That's not to say that if both families don't get along, that the relationship itself can't. It just makes it a lot tougher and a lot harder on, and it puts unnecessary strain on the relationship. So I think if you've, like you said, if you're an eligible bachelor and you've actually asked yourself all these questions and then you've asked for help, and then they've presented to you a potential candidate and they've done the background check and everything, then, and you've got this book and you've asked those the 101 questions and everything ticks off, you know, and you find that you're compatible, because in Islam, it's not about chemistry as much. The chemistry is minimal. Right, up until marriage. Once you're married, that's when you start developing the chemistry a little bit. A bit more time on that, because the compatibility is what actually carries you throughout the whole. The compatibility and your religion is what carries you throughout the whole, you know, term of the relationship. So, if you're compatible, then, you know, it makes it a lot easier. I would say the only thing that's left before you even decide to get married to this person is pray istikhara. That's one of the most important things, is you pray istikhara, because like I said, it's not a decision that you take lightly. And whose judgment do you trust best other than, you know, the people around you? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So you ask Allah for guidance, and the more difficult it becomes to actually get into that relationship, then that's a sign for you that that's not the type of relation. That's assuming you put in all the effort that's necessary. You can't just sit back and say, oh, it's not working out, and you're not actually contributing.
Exactly.
You know? And then after you've prayed istikhara, inshallah, just enter it with the right mind state and be upfront. Be clear. I think a lot of the issues right now, the reason why people don't go asking for help, the reasons why some relationships don't necessarily last long, or they're not asking these questions, is because they're not entering it and being upfront. A lot of them don't want a marriage. What they want is either a wedding, or they want a boyfriend or girlfriend.
A relationship,
A relationship. They want the halal version of dating by using the cover of marriage. You understand? Or I'm getting to know the sister for marriage.
The other possible reason that I found with that as well is, if you ask, or if some people ask these questions that they really want to ask, and be direct and upfront without sugarcoating anything, because at the end of the day, you got to find out, you got to know what you want, and you got to be able to put on the table, right? This is what I'm willing to accept, and this is what I'm not willing to accept, right? And I think a lot of people find themselves in a situation where, if that is the case, then it won't move forward. You know what I mean? The two parties won't agree on what it is that, you know?
Yeah, I know what you
mean.
Like
when the brother or the sister puts out on the table what they want and what they expect, and, you know, what their requirements are, then the other party won't meet those requirements or accept those conditions. And then for out of fear that it's gonna break down before it even starts, a lot of people just start to accept and accommodate to each other until the marriage has...
No, I mean, like, I'm not talking about, when I say be upfront, I mean, like, be upfront with the sister that you're getting to know her for the sake of marriage. Don't try and beat around the bush and say, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as you meet the sister, let her know, look, the only reason I'm meeting you is so I can actually get to know you for the sake of marriage, to actually eventually get married. And then you'll be able to weed out where her mindset is at, where your mindset is at, whether you're ready for marriage or not, or you're just wasting each other's time. And the other thing is, don't go there alone. I think that's the most important as well. And that's part of that whole trend of, you know, dating and doing it the haram way, is actually the first step. Like, you have to understand that the first step is how you lay the foundation. If you step with the right foot, wallahi, mashallah, everything will be okay. Right? And what I mean by the right foot, I mean you're upfront, your intention's correct, and you do it the halal way. That is, you meet at a public place with her mahram, or even a private place with her mahram, and you're asking these questions and you're being upfront. And then, you know, and you've prayed istikhara. And
that's
pretty much all you can
do.
I think a lot of people are afraid to be upfront. It's not just there's that rejection part, but there's also it's not just that I'm going to get rejected. It's like, maybe if we start talking for a while, she'll start to like me and give in. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Like, they'll eventually
I'm a flirt my way into a relationship.
Make it till you make it.
Eventually they'll conform to my ways and whatever it is, and I'll have it. And then they'll spend 3-4 months, and then after that they're like, it's done. And with that being upfront, you might get that rejection. But then you just saved yourself 3-4 months of wasting time.
Instead of agreeing to being okay with things that later on
will be issues.
And then arguments and all these things. Especially with divorce rates nowadays, it's skyrocketing. So it's like for people that are getting into marriage, you really need to know that this is not something taken easy. It's a big thing. I consider it as one of life's greatest accomplishments. Like one of the milestones in your life. You're practically starting a family. You know what I mean? And you don't want to start that family off on the wrong foot, because it's like a house. If the foundation isn't set, the roof is going to come down. You know what I mean? But if the foundation is set, come hurricane or not, that building will still be there.
You're building sandcastles. That's what you're doing.
Exactly.
I think one of the things that you should not do would be oh man, I had it.
Yeah.
Yes. One thing that you should not do is approach or try and work on, marriage between two sisters. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like two biological sisters. I mean like two sisters. You're chasing two people and trying to get to know two people.
No.
You know what I mean? At the same time, and they're in different locations, so they don't know about each other. So you're investing, to say that if this doesn't work out, I got a backup plan.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. When you chase two rabbits, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Chase two chickens, you get nothing. It's the same thing. So you focus on one, you pray istikhara for one. If it doesn't work out, mashallah, you can move on to the next one. But if you're chasing both at the same time, you end up with zero at the end of the day. And in fact, more than zero.
Yeah. These days with the internet and stuff, you can be on the other side of the world.
Get exposed.
So what would be a closing sort of a takeaway?
Work on yourself.
Yeah.
Get the book, and then don't be afraid of rejections. Just go out there.
Yeah, nice, man.
Yeah.
That's a really good sum up and like a couple of words, to be honest.
It shocked us. We were expecting a bit of a explanation.
Yeah, don't want to expand on that. All right.
I wasn't expecting the mic to be passed.
Your clothes, not my clothes too, but you sum mine up too. But I would say, man, other than getting the book and asking those questions, I would say start with the right foot. Once you're ready to actually start with the right foot, the right intention, be upfront, and potentially the right spouse, with the right way as well, the Islamic way, and pray istikhara, and you can't go wrong. Whether it's a rejection or an acceptance, either way, it's still okay for you. It's good for you. It just leaves you open for another potential.
100%. Only thing I would add to that, and I found this through speaking to a lot of people that I know, is with every sort of relationship they have, they pick out things, right? This person has got this quality, right? So then they try to find that quality in the next person amongst all the other good qualities, right? And then that person doesn't work out. They'll add that to the next bundle, right? So then by
Frankenstein.
Exactly. they try. So don't try to pick out points from each person. Try to pick out what matters to you the most. You know what I mean? What you think makes this person stand out to you. And
which of those qualities actually matter to you the most.
Exactly.
Like, don't narrow it down to like 50 qualities that you absolutely need in one person.
Life is so much bigger than that.
Exactly. Narrow it down to like the most important things. I'd say like 3, probably 5 is a stretch, to be honest. Like 3. If assuming she's from the right family and she's a really good, the references and everything, maybe can you hold a conversation with this person? Can you, is this person like able mentally and physically and intellectually able to help you raise your future generation of kids? And does she have goals, or does that person have goals? And do those goals or values align with you or not? Like, I would say that, but someone else might think something completely different. Does she make me laugh? Does she not make me laugh? All of these things. So it's just
what matters to you most in a few words.
Like, find those things.
And I reckon the biggest thing, I just want to cut you off there real quick. What people do is they take things that aren't important and make it important. Like, oh, she can't cook, you can learn to cook. She can't do this. You can, like, forget that stuff because then, like you said, if you're nitpick yourself. Yeah. And then you realize you shouldn't be doing that.
And don't focus on all the teachable and learnable skills. Anything you can teach a person.
Is if they're willing to learn. Are they, like, that's the characteristic.
Yeah, exactly. Anything you can teach a person, they can learn. Right? How to cook, how to drive, all these things. For you, like yourself, there's things that you can learn, right? But there's things you can't teach. You can't teach patience. You can't teach understanding, compassion, honesty, trust. These things you can't teach. The person either has it or they don't have it. You know what I mean? So focus on those things that can't be taught but are necessary. You know what I mean? And that's my piece of advice. And inshallah, if you guys need anything else, we're still here.
Yeah. Check out the book.
Make sure you guys check out the book. We'll upload the socials on Instagram.
You know what? I think we might post this up as a question in the chat group.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I want to hear what the other, the listeners and the audience.
Different type of questions.
Yeah, I want to know what they think. How to actually go about asking the right or finding the right spouse. I want to know what they think.
Yeah. So should we say that's this week's post for the chat?
Yeah. Inshallah.
Yeah. Catch you guys on the chat group. And make sure you guys get the book. It's a really nice read. Until then, catch you guys next week.